Okay, I think we're recording now. So these are my kind of general observations. It's really progressing very well. It's very exciting to read. I think you know that, right?
Thank you.
One thing I think is that it would help the reader if you did the signposts at the beginning of each section. This is what's in this section, okay? Now, you did that quite well with the methodology chapter, but not so much in the earlier one. So, and I think that has two benefits. One is that it helps the reader kind of understand where you're going and then follow the logic of your argument. And two is that sometimes you go over the same idea more than once. And a little bit of that's okay, but I mean, the thesis needs to be succinct and tight. And that leaves you room then to put in the poetry and the drama and the visuals and so on to support your argument. That's my general comment about the first part that I read. On the methodology, I just want to bring that up here. All right, where is that methodology chapter? There it is. It's already up here. So I just want to read to you what you say you're going to do in this third chapter. First of all, your title. Research methodology, a way of living cultural living values. Now that's a mouthful. So you've got a way of living, and then you say cultural living values. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know where you actually explained what that title means. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, shall I tell now?
Did I lose you?
Yes. Shall I share?
Yep.
Actually, the word cultural values, that how I mean to understand, and how I understood is the value which I have been talking. This is not only my value, because the culture has shaped me. Who am I, and what I'm doing? It's all it's a cultural practice. And while I'm being with the teachers, and while I'm making this collaborative journey, this is this is our collective values, which I have understood in that way. So so here somewhere in between, I'm still not confused whether I need to use I, because this is my dissertation, this is my sense making, or should I stick with we, so collectively I can write our stories in one story. Or so this is, sometimes I'm in dilemma. Like sometimes I have used throughout I, and whenever I felt I used we. And other time I feel so we, and I cannot separate other from me, and I use we. So it is kind of it's my crisis, let's say. This is the crisis of writing collaborative journey in this dissertation. um, for example, in the first chapter also itself, I found whatever however I have understood, like research agenda, how I perceived, and how I deepen that understanding. It's not only me, I through the literature and other things, but together with the teachers. So the stories are collective stories. Like some stories may be personal, but they are the similar stories which I have presented there, similar lived experiences. So I use I while explaining those experiences, because I could not mention the name as like in the evidence in other chapters, like empirical chapters, but the lived experiences are the teachers' experiences, not only my experiences. So these are whole collective stories, and I I'm in dilemma, and I talked with my supervisor as well, and he said, if that is the case, you can introduce your participant in the very beginning, like before you begin in the preface, you introduce them, and you write where you have used I and we, and your this challenge you can mention, and you can write in that manner. But still, that is not much very crystal clear to me, because in methodology chapter I cannot claim like this is we who perceive in that way, made sense in that way. Yes, the approach is participatory, it's collaborative, that, but how am I making sense that, how can I claim it is their way? The problems are there, and we have might have understood the issues in the same manner, and we had made the journey together. But it's very difficult to me to separate I and we and come to. So this is the that made me confused to use my living values, and I could not claim whether that is my or our, and this is very blurry. So that I use cultural values as our living values. Because of that I use, because I can define like me myself, my identity or myself is a cultural being. If I'm not connected to with other, there is no identity. So if I'm a cultural being, means my values are also cultural values that shaped me, who am I today and how am I doing. So this is the collective, and still there are distinct values that are not similar common to the teachers that I have separately discussed in one particular chapter. But as a whole, um, when reaching to this point, at least I can say some of them are the common values which we made together. Like in the developing the paper also, I talk about living love, and this is very and after that also I develop a paper on collaborative approaches. And collaboration is very deeply connected to my research, and so that in the title also I mention a collaborative epistemic journey. So so that made me a kind of confusion. So I'm not able to claim this is my living value, this is their living value, so that I just draw that cultural living values. That is the reason.
Well, I think you need to write that part. I mean, I think what you just talked about makes perfect sense, and I think the ambiguity is fine, but you need to write that very clearly. And where I've made a note about you saying we and claiming that we know, I think where you write we, you have to be very clear for whom you're speaking, because that's where you're going to get challenged. When you speak for I, it's very clear. But when you speak for we, you've got to have the evidence, the data that provides the evidence to support that claim that we, and be specific who we are. Then, and there is data to support some of those claims, but you have not provided them. And I'm not sure you want to get too deeply down that road, because that will take you on a new tangent that we don't need right now. So in each case where I'm challenging you for where you've written we, you need to stop and think and say, is this we or is this I?
Mm.
And if it's we, what's the data that supports this claim. That's all there is to this. And where you say I, again, you need to provide data to support the claim to know. That's the essence of research.
Yeah. Yes.
And
So
you
that,
have lots of data. You have lots of data.
yes, I do have one. So when I have mentioned about collective epistemic journey, yes, I mentioned that. So does it, like, if I follow this way, then does it make any sense? Like, does it influence my that means writing process? That I mean to say, is it not necessary to write we everywhere?
No,
No. Okay.
I think your supervisor said the same thing. It's just
Yeah.
that where you do use we or I, you need to have the support, the data that provides evidence to support the claim to know. That's the only issue. And in most cases, you have been very vigilant in that, but in some others, you need to go back and check. So that you
Yes.
don't get into
Yeah, I understand this. What you have been saying just now, I'm clear of it. But still, when I made a collaborative journey, when I mention it, so my question is, if I use, like, if I have been following the same, like whenever I use we, I need to have evidence, as you have said, and I understand it. But does that make any sense? Like, if I have already said collaborative, then should not I use we? Or that means a collective story as one, so that I can use we? That is my confusion, or let's say dilemma. Uh, if
well,
I'm clear of it, so I can separate I we from I from we. Let's say I we kind of confusion, but it's still it's challenging. But I need to look through my whole text from this perspective. Then only I can make a clear distinct. I'm struggling on that part. So I'm not clear. Because of that reason, I'm not quite confident of saying these are my core values. I'm not able to, like, so sometimes it seems this is the value and another is a value. And so there are so many things in between, and I'm confused because of that. Sorry.
well, I think actually maybe you just need to write 2 or 3 paragraphs about exactly what are my core values. And I think you know them. I think sometimes you start to question whether you know them or not, but I think you know them. I think you know them very well. And I think the section you wrote in the methodology, in particular on living theory, still needs quite a bit of work. And I think you know that too. I think the beginning paragraph, let me just go back and read that beginning paragraph. In this chapter, I discussed the philosophical underpinnings that guided me in my research. Good. Then I discussed my Gaian Pragya paradigm, a constellation of multiple paradigms that provided me, I don't know, is that with a Gaian Pragya of research as a way of living harmoniously? I'm not sure about the grammar there. Then I share my living theory methodology of developing a living theory using multiple methodologies, methods, logics of data generation and meaning making. And finally, I share my quality assurance and ethical consideration methods. So this is what you say you're going to do in this chapter, and you're fine until you say, I'm going to share my living theory methodology, and that is still to be developed from what I read here. Is that true?
Yeah, it's from the living value perspective. I have not articulated their values there.
I think that needs to be done right at the beginning. I think you need to expand on right on that in that first introductory paragraph on what you mean.
In the methodology chapter or in the first chapter?
No, in the methodology chapter. Well, I think probably you need to make a reference in there to it as well. But in here, I think you need to go back and do a paragraph right here at the beginning of this methodology chapter on how this works, how you've developed your own methodology. And it's a very original methodology that you've created. And I think you need to say it right out loud because frankly, it's unique. I haven't read one like this before. Have you?
No.
No. So we need to say that right up front on this chapter. This is my own living educational methodology, educational theory methodology that I've created. And I'm sharing it here as you will see that I've used multiple methodologies, multiple methods, and means of representing data, alternative data representation involving poetry, drama, visual data, and so on. And this is all part of creating my own living educational theory methodology. I draw on these other methodologies, and that what comes out of it is my own. I mean, that's the exciting work in here, Parbati. And you seem to be tentative about saying it, and you don't need to be. It's very exciting, right?
Yes, but still I'm not confident of my living values. Because of that reason, which I have shared with you.
Well, let's just stop there. The only issue I hear you saying is that you feel like there is some confusion between your individual values and the collective values. And I don't think there are. I think there's crossover. I think some of your individual values are also the values in the collaborative areas, but some of them are unique to you. And I mean, I think your value of living love is unique to you. That's what the way you live your life. Now, out of that value is your desire for harmony and harmonious relationships. And I think you, by who you are, this is what you do on a daily basis. And you've got evidence that people see you doing that, right? They see you as that person. So it's not just your own claim. They've given you feedback. I see it. Jack Whitehead has seen it. Michelle Vaughn has seen it. Your students in your classes see it. Those teachers in that rural school saw it. So you have lots of evidence to support that is that value that you live on a daily basis.
Yeah. So I articulated love and consciousness as values in the methodology chapter, but in the introduction I try to articulate differently, like harmony. I had one to get a sense of togetherness in the form of harmony in introduction. So it is I'm not consistent. So that is the challenge. So if I'm
It's okay. I mean, you're not there yet, but you're getting there. It's part of the thinking through process, and it's quite okay. And it will. We always talk about trusting the process, right? So this will emerge, and I think it is emerging. and your confidence will
Harmony,
grow.
yes. Yeah, harmony is emerged at the end, and the end of the writing. Harmony is the one, because I did not talk about that. I had been talking, but I did not realize that as my value there. But I was conscious about living, love, collaboration, care, kindness. Those things were there throughout writing process, but harmony was not there. So, and and later I realized harmony is a part of collaboration. Like
Mm-hmm.
harmony, like as I'm talking about harmony within and out, and if if there is harmony outside in my practice, that is collaboration. In that form, I have realized. So I made sense in that way, inner harmony and outer harmony.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, I can discuss. So still am. Yeah, after this discussion, I think I will be more clear, and then I will revisit the whole section once, and I can.
Well, I mean, it's really, I mean, it's certainly come a long way since the last time I read it, and I'm certain you know that. And I think that it's now, I think it's more getting down to the fine tuning,
Mm.
getting it to read smoothly, consistently, with your argument up front, and then follow through on the argument, so that it flows easily for the reader. And then look for areas where you've kind of gone over the same point and you don't need to do it twice. So I think those are the fine tunings that are happening now. I see that you did read that Katashi, uh,
Yeah.
because I think there are some similarities, in your topic, because he's talking about professional development and he's talking about how a living theory emerged for him. But you have gone farther than he did. Your research is even further. You've gone farther. I think you probably know that, don't you?
I haven't gone through his whole dissertation. Just I, in the beginning, before to write, I just went through his, and I remember like he has used some of his cultural understanding of how he had been getting through. But uh, although I did not plan to use completely Stern wisdom tradition or sociocultural perspective to analyze, to go through the writing process, but finally I came to the point, like I'm looking into my journey through Stern wisdom tradition. So I'm bit confident to say that like this dissertation is developed from, or I'm developing my living educational theory from Eastern wisdom tradition. So I'm
You know,
sure.
you just said that. You just said that. And I think that is one of the most significant things you need to write at the front of that thesis, and then bring it back in again and again, because that's what's one of the unique things about this thesis, right? And it's one of the things you're really proud of. I can hear it and see it in your voice, right? Okay,
Yes,
so
yes.
let's not lose that one, because that's a really significant one. And one of the things that's going to happen in this stage of writing is that you're actually preparing for the oral dissertation, because you're going to have to be succinct. You're going to have to say, this is what this thesis is about. And this is what I know. And this is how I know it. And your confidence will grow in presenting it.
Yes. Slowly and gradually, I'm getting confidence, so that I have written you about the living theory methodology. When you said yes, you developed that, so I'm not worried about that. And regarding living values, when I can separate from I and we, definitely I can be very clear on that issue. And regarding this Eastern wisdom tradition, and developing the living educational theory. I'm sure of it because these days, in my university also, professors and faculties, they all aspire for Eastern wisdom tradition, that perspective to go through the research, but none of the dissertation have written from that sole perspective. They have integrated here and there, not the way I have been doing. And this could be one example, or this could be very influential for the readers as well. So I want to be confident on this aspect as well, so that I have, at least if I am confident in developing living educational theory and living methodology, then I would have other strength as well. So at least I want to be prepared, because there are so many distraction, this is new approach, new way of doing dissertation even in the university, so I may get so many critical comments. And whenever I like whenever, even when I discuss with my supervisor, he has been inspiring me to reach to the point, but still at times when you use the words, like I get stuck, and I need to think, and it always happens to me. And but still he has saved my soul, and I'm continuing this journey. uh, but at times, whenever I feel the public, their comments, if they get give any comment, I may be distracted and I may lose my confidence. So first of all, I want to get the strength of this, then at least I could save my soul.
So, this section in the methodology on living educational theory, I was thinking what I would do is I would send you a response, a written response to the chapter. Okay, and then you can take from it what is helpful. You just as an example, in this section, and there is a section on living educational theory. We cannot assume that your readers know what that is. And so we need to actually write right in there that living educational theory draws insights from a variety of methodologies and methods. It is a values-based inquiry in which we use our values as living standards of judgment to describe and explain the nature of our educational influence on ourselves, on others, and on social formations. Now, you've written pieces of this already. You certainly did it in the E-Jolts article. So you may be able to go back and draw directly some quotations from there, because that does two things. One, it helps the reader understand exactly what you mean by living educational theory. And two, it shows them examples of where you've thought through the nature of your influence. And I think three is you have examples of that life-affirming energy that you have that we can't describe in text alone. We need those visuals. And that's another thing that will bring this whole section alive. Because talking about energy flowing values, the words, the lexical definitions are elusive. They elude us. But when you see that clip and you talking about living love as a value, the meaning is clear.
Yes. Next, I'm thinking to talk with my supervisor about my sharing with you, because I did not share how we have been sharing with you regarding the dissertation. I did not talk, and uh, I'm not sure like how he would take this. Like how do I want to like the way you have said. I want to keep the like videos there, like the way we have been doing in the paper. I don't know how it works. At least uh, I'm not sure like how he perceives. I'm just thinking of it to whether he likes like my sharing with you and your feedback, your critical suggestion would be welcoming or not. I don't know. I'm not sure of it because this is done without sharing with him. So if that he welcomes, then I could also include some of the YouTube videos there in my dissertation. That would strengthen my claims or as evidence. So
Well,
so how.
this is entirely up to you. I mean, you don't have to tell him anything about our conversations at all if you don't want to. I mean that your article in eJolt stands on his own. But I mean, if you think it's an advantage for you, then definitely have that conversation. But I don't need to be obviously helping if you don't want me to be. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
I
I
only want to support you. That's my only purpose. There's no other reason.
Yeah, I understand that. I completely understand. But just only thing is the way you have been helping. I haven't shared with my supervisor. That is the main thing, and I'm not sure. Like I'm not still don't have courage to share with him like the way. I don't think like he may be he may welcome it, or I don't know whether he welcome or not, because. I don't know because this is not in our culture like how we have been doing, but nobody shares in this manner because this is very and not only in the very formal presentations. So till now I haven't shared. That is the reason, and I feel very sensitive because he is the one, you know, to uh, to get me through the
Oh
process.
yes, I understand. Absolutely. Well, you, I am not there, and I'm not in your culture, and
Yeah.
I cannot help you with that. You have to make that decision on your own.
Yes.
I can't imagine that any supervisor would object to any student getting any help of any kind, but I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah. It's different. It's different. I put like maybe it's different. I have the partly understanding. Uh, so in our culture also, I think supervisors they do not like to share their. Uh,
Mm. Okay, well, I mean, you don't need to tell him anything if you don't want to.
hmm. I don't know. I'm not sure, but completely I'm not sure. But still, um, let's see. I think if possible, I want to include in that way the way I have worked with the paper, not exactly in the same manner, but still I could strengthen. Uh, Let me go through the departmental and then I can have more. Um, ways to find because the only thing is I need to strengthen my writing. That is the major concern, and I may get that issue to talk with him, and I can include because uh, Kutosi, except Kutosi, nobody has developed their dissertation in living educational theory. There is not any. So what but that is also he is from Pakistan, not from Nepal. So whatever I have been doing and doing from the Eastern wisdom perspective, so this will be influential and this will be exemplary for at least in our context. So I want to strengthen it, how much I can do it.
Definitely. Well, I think you are. I mean, that's the stage you're at.
And I found you to give me strength, so that I have been conversing with you and sharing with you for that.
Well, I think you're doing exactly what you should be doing, and it's coming along very well. And it's going to be a very strong thesis. So I think you need to have confidence in that.
Uh, I have about 418 pages, so that is very long one.
Yes.
Uh,
But as I said before, I think there are areas where we can tighten up, where we
mm,
can, sometimes we've gone over similar points and we can collapse some of that and become less wordy.
yes, yes. Yes, you have said correctly. In empirical chapter also, some of the things are repeated in the from the literature review section. So I need to work on that, not to repeat so many things there. Uh, what do you think, like, I need to do further regarding Sanskrit word? What I have decided is, my supervisor has given two options. Like, one is to either to keep in the footnote uh, all the Sanskrit words and definitions, either to keep in the footnote, or introduce first and then write in English and continue with the English word. So that would make that would not distract the readers. At least major words you can repeat, but the other words here and so, better not to have so many wordy words in throughout the dissertation. He has suggested me, and I think I will go for the second option, introducing first in Sanskrit and writing, translating in English, and then continue with the English word, rather than writing so many things in the footnote. Because my intention is not introducing Sanskrit words and they're familiarizing with that, rather to have understanding from that perspective. So I have decided in that way.
Okay, well, that was one of your earlier questions, and I have thought about it. Um, it's it's difficult for me to retain the meanings of all the words. So you said, does it distract me? To a degree, yes, I think it does distract me. And I think his point about maybe limiting the number of
Yes.
different concepts, and Sanskrit words might certainly help it flow better.
Yes.
And you know what? I keep a page where I write down what things mean, so I can remember, you know, what's that again? In one way it's fun because I'm learning, you know, but in another, then it takes my mind away from the actual research content.
What I have thought is, I would not change, like sattva like, raja like, and tamas like. I
Yeah,
won't replace them, because
right.
I keep them as it is. And in the methodology, prasna paradigm, kala paradigm, artha paradigm, I would not replace them, because that will remain in the particular section and there only, not everywhere. So I will be defining and I'll keep there. Other words, I have thought, like using first in Sanskrit and then in English. In that way, I will go. Uh, why I have been using those words is, for example, if I say culture and if I say sanskar, that is how I translated the word. When I say culture and when I say sanskar, even my interpretation, my understanding, and my way of thinking makes difference.
Mm.
So I continuously wrote the word sanskar. Now I replace that, and I think that would not kill the essence what I was writing uh, in this point of time. So I am okay with changing the word. It is translated in English, but that doesn't capture the complete sense of the
Mm.
word culture and Sanskrit and so many others like kala also of art. Art, when I say art, I visualize something else, and when I say kala, it is different. It's completely it is vast, and I cannot even articulate very well. So that makes sense. But now I'm ready to replace, because while writing I had captured that essence there, and I hope readers will find that the way I have developed.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Mm.
Yes. Okay. Um, so, um, what can I do to help now?
Uh, I know that I should not ask you this question, but still I want to ask uh, love, consciousness, and sense of togetherness. That means sense of togetherness is harmony. I have already said you, and harmony. One form of harmony is a sense of togetherness and interconnectedness, oneness. There are so many other forms of harmony there. So consciousness also, there are so many forms of consciousness. Love, as you know that. So that these three words, love, consciousness, and sense of togetherness or harmony, shall I use these three words as my living values throughout the dissertation?
Well, living love is very clear to me, and harmony and togetherness is very clear to me. But consciousness, I don't understand how that is a value very well. So that word is problematic for me.
Okay, I can, yes, I also feel at times, but that's okay, because I can understand in this manner whatever I have been writing or how I have been perceiving or doing, that is a part of consciousness. So I may not use the word consciousness as a value, but it's there. So I
But
can,
what other words would we use that would convey the idea that would make it clear?
of consciousness.
Yeah.
Uh, Consciousness is from the Eastern wisdom tradition. Uh, Love and consciousness, they are coexisting.
Ah,
Uh,
okay. So you don't need, that's not another value. That is a value that's within love.
yeah, I can say that. I can say in that manner, because in the Buddhist text I found that compassionate. Yeah, the word compassionate, I have found one line there when defining or explaining about compassionate, it is written about kindness, caring, and intellect is also there. So it comes together like love alone. There is not only love there, within love there comes in intellects, mind, or consciousness. There are other things also. So I should not separate that. You mean?
Well, compassion is another concept altogether. So there's love, and then compassion and caring kind of are a separate value, and then harmony. That those are very different from my perspective.
Yes, they are different. Yes, they are different from Buddhist tradition as well. Love and uh, compassion is one very thin line between the difference between love and compassionate, which I have found today is in love you also feel the like a sense of joy you also experience. I also experience. That is the common value, like common experiences. But compassionate, I may feel bad, or I may not like that, but still I do something good to you. That is compassionate value. So I read somewhere
Yep.
this.
So, I mean, those, if those three go very well together in my understanding of what you stand for and how you judge how you're living your life. So,
Uh,
love and compassion and harmony, I see those in what you do.
so shall I use the three: love, harmony, and sense of togetherness, or
Well, harmony and togetherness are kind of,
same?
yeah. Love, living love is a big one, and I think encompasses everything you do. And then I see, yeah, your care and compassion, and then that value of harmonious relationships. Those are the three that seem to come up over and over in what you write and do and say. But they have to be your words, Parbati, not anybody else's. They have
Yes.
to have a meaning within your Eastern tradition and
Mhm.
wisdom, and still be clear to your English readers what your meaning is.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, I mean, maybe you still need to play with those a bit.
From when I define from the Eastern perspective of love and uh, harmony, it may go little beyond the way I have been defining living love. It's I need to think and I need to make it explicit, because uh, still now I did not define, like while developing the paper, resource paper, I did not perceive from Stern perspective. So I define in my own way. Of course it is embedded, how I define it, it's there, but still I need to unpack that in my own understanding. I need to do that. Yes.
Well, but this is very exciting stuff. I mean, you feel it, don't you?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
feel it
Yes.
because you're getting closer all the time to what it is you stand for.
And I'm not like I'm at times I feel like dropping the idea is not easy, like the word living love. I may drop that particular word, but still it will grow in the form of, in the form, like while articulating the particular definition of love. Every time it may grow, like while writing in symposium, like developing the paper there, I sense living love in the form of interconnectedness, and I can connect this harmony with interconnectedness now. So it's somewhere there, so it is there, but still I need to unpack in my perspective.
What can I
So
do? What can I do to help?
uh, for now, for this moment, I don't have anything to ask with you. uh, just I waited for your words since 2 days, to make sense of my living values. I was there in between. Now I rework from separating I, we in my own way, and I think I will be more clear, like more or less I'm clear of my values also. Then I have already gained the strength saying, like I'm developing my living educational theory, living theory methodology. That's no doubt. You have already said so. Me, I have got that strength, and the just only thing is uh, how I will be understood by the audience, because this is different in many ways. There is not the culture of developing living educational theory, like even although Kutosi has done, he belonged to Pakistan, so
Mm.
many of the readers, they may not have perceive in that way with it, although he developed here in Nepal, studied in Nepal. And
But
another,
he had the same supervisor.
yes, same supervisor.
Yeah.
Um, like Eastern perspective is very, will be very influential if I could strongly put my ideas there. So that I need some strength, life affirming energy should flow there.
That's right. Well, I'm sending it your way.
So that I'm reconnecting with you, and I'll be sharing like whenever I feel stuck and when I feel to share with you. At that moment, I'll be sharing.
Okay. Well, lovely to see you today.
Yes, it's very good to share. I hope I will, after revisiting this, you can send me your views and your comments, however you like to do, because when you make some correction, I use them as the corrected version in there. Uh, I begin. I start from very first page from tomorrow, and I will walk throughout my chapters. And uh, in this moment, I want to get a very big drawn type of view for my dissertation rather than very particular one, because if that is okay, if the major portion like the bulk is okay, then inside it there are more days to work on it. It is a continuous process. I'll be refining and making it more powerful in the days to come. I think that is the.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind is that if there are too many words and if there's too much repetition,
Mm.
the meaning gets masked, gets
Mm.
kind of covered, and you got to make it explicit right out there so that the reader knows exactly what the logic of your argument is and doesn't feel like you're kind of wandering.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes. I may ask you to look into my reflection final chapter, as I shared with you the first methodology and then last one. So just you may scan that and see a few things and suggest me. That would be helpful for me, whether it is well connected or not, whether
Okay.
I had addressed few things or not.
Okay. All right. Well, lovely to see you today.
Yes. Are you going to send me the first and methodology chapter from adding your observation?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.